One of the many reasons why he's going to win. Look at this. Did you see over the weekend and today and even tomorrow, these rallies, the relentless schedule, the energy? Where does he get that energy? And this, okay, might be slightly more intense, but he's been doing this basically for 4 years. He's been everywhere all the time. Joe Biden is trying to cram right now, and you can't win the presidency by cramming for a couple of days. No, you got to be at it and at it and at it for 4 or 5 years, and that's what President Trump has been doing. And I am very confident this evening, very confident. And I want to talk a little bit about this show and where we are right now. This show debuted in January, and quite frankly, I think it's great. And I think I'm the perfect guy to host it at this time because, well, there are a lot of folks in the media, even those in the conservative media, who will say things like, well, I like his monetary policy, but I'm really turned off by the tweets and the personality. No. Yeah, I like the policy, too. The TTP and all that stuff, immigration, foreign policy, defense, economics, all that stuff. But you know what? It's the style. It is the refreshing candor and honesty of this man that I just think is fantastic. It is cutting through centuries and centuries of phoniness and deceit at the highest levels of government. And I think he's going to be rewarded in a very big way tomorrow. Again, I'm kind of uniquely positioned to be observing all of this. The first time I met Donald Trump was in 1987, actually. Handful of meetings over the years, encounters, but one very noteworthy one. I was in the room when this happened on June 16, 2015, when the president announced for president. He was a candidate back then. That's me, about 7 rows back. I recognize my head. That is definitely me. And I was with a friend of mine, my colleague at the time, Rosanna, and we listened to the speech, and we just took it in. A lot of reporters, they're just looking for a soundbite, you know, just a little moment that they can use against somebody. We didn't do it that way. We just listened and took it all in, the whole thing. Camera came up to us right after and said, "What'd you think?" It was actually Access Hollywood, NBC. And I let him know what I thought.
I think he might be a game changer in this race. Listen to that speech. It's going to go over well in certain precincts in Iowa, New Hampshire. This is a big deal. This is not a joke.
And Rosanna there said she was impressed that he did it without a teleprompter. And that was another key to his success. There was something kind of magical, actually, and I could feel it in my bones that this was a seismic event. I said it on TV. That was on primetime television. Of course, the internet exploded and made fun of me, but that's okay. That happens. I saw the president that day. I just knew that something very, very big was happening. Now, look, along the way, you know, when he said that thing about John McCain and the ups and downs, yeah, I was like, whoa, I don't know if this is going to work out. But it did. It did. My gut was right on that day. I'll tell you something else you never hear about the president. In many ways, he is a traditional president, the kind of president the founding fathers had in mind. He's not a member of some permanent governing class. The Constitution actually doesn't talk about a permanent governing staff. It's meant for people like Donald Trump, or back then farmers, people who had lives away from Washington, D.C., from government, people who wanted to do things for their country but weren't necessarily full-time government employees. So it all makes sense. And actually, I noticed Melania, the First Lady, this rang so true to me during the RNC this summer.
From the day that I met him, he has only wanted to make this country the best it can be. For many years, I watched him grow concerned and frustrated, and I'm so proud to see the many things he has done in such a short time.
Concerned and frustrated over the years. Like a lot of us, he was a guy at home watching the news, reading the news, and getting really, really frustrated about the direction this country was going. Now, fortunately for him and for us, he had the skill and the resources to do something about it. You know, he made this point actually to Joe Biden, a killer moment in the debate that was largely overlooked, but again, speaks to how pure actually all of this is.
You keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this, but you were there just a short time ago, and you guys did nothing.
We did.
You know, Joe, I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would have never run. I would have never run. I ran because of you. I'm looking at you now. You're a politician. I ran because of you.
You see the words behind him? I think it was from the Constitution. We're looking at the Constitution right there. Donald Trump's approach to all this is far more in line with the Constitution and what the Founding Fathers were talking about. I want to show you every president we've had since World War II, okay? Just about every one of them, a career politician. Some started later, earlier than others, but, you know, Congress, the Senate, and then the big job. There are only 3 who had world-class achievement in fields outside of politics. Dwight Eisenhower, of course, Ronald Reagan, who was almost a philosopher, in addition to being a pretty significant actor and governor, and Donald Trump, world-class achievement in business, finance, marketing. These are the kinds of people the Founding Fathers were thinking about, not those who are just drones of the government reaching the presidency. And I think that the president is very impressive in that regard. You know, John Voight put it this way during the convention. Again, another moment that was largely overlooked, but means a lot to me, at least.
He didn't do it for money or power or fame. He had all that. He did it because of his love for our great country.
Money or power or fame, he had all that. Think about some of our recent presidents. Did they have it before they became president? No, but they used it to get a lot more famous and a lot more money, okay? That's what it's turned out to be, a vehicle to the ultimate celebrity. Media, meanwhile, they don't like somebody coming from the outside. It's disrupting the whole system, and they are engaged in a full-fledged cover-up. It is absolutely astounding for the Bidens. Joe Biden can go on the national stage for weeks now after that hard drive came out and avoid very, very simple and basic questions that a healthy political press corps would pose to any candidate if this issue were to come up. The laptop, does it belong to your son? That's it. Did you meet with the Burisma executive, as the Burisma executive seems to indicate to Hunter Biden in an email? Those are very, very reasonable questions, and Joe Biden has not been asked. He's been able to get away with broad denials, reporters only politely bringing it up in the most general of terms. Do you have any regrets about the appearances of such and such? And Joe can do this, can deceive all of us, you and me, with this swamp nonsense. Listen closely.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And that's exactly what.
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what.
This is
told.
where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You
okay?
have to be kidding. Here we
Mr.
go
President,
again with Russia.
We're going to continue on the issue of race.
No, let's get back to race. Let's not make any progress on this issue, which is, I'm telling you, this is legitimate. And Joe, wow, he's revealing himself bigly. When he talks about those former CIA directors, it's a whole new level of corruption. I saw that statement, by the way. It's available to all of us. They actually say out loud they haven't seen the emails, they haven't seen the computer, so they don't know. They haven't seen the evidence, but they have a general feeling that this is Russian disinformation. When he outlined all the people who are supporting him, you know what it reminded me of? When he says that the entire European Union wanted that Burisma executive fired. It's very similar. He just kind of engineered the system to give himself some backup. All right, so they're not posing the question to Joe, and they're not posing the question to Hunter. And by the way, where is that guy?
I'm Hunter Biden.
And I'm Ashley Biden.
There they are at the Democratic National Convention. They were featured, introduced their father. It was a sweet moment, but isn't it weird that neither of them are on the campaign trail in any meaningful way? I mean, just a little picture here on the internet. I mean, where are they? If you were accused, wouldn't you want to establish your innocence? Wouldn't you stand out there, take a couple of questions, and I don't know, they got to come up with something, and they're not. Meanwhile, the Trump children are all over the place all the time. There's, what do we got there? Eric, we got Don, we got Tiffany, Melania, of course. And not only that, we got Don Jr.'s girlfriend out on the trail, Kimberly Guilfoyle. We got Eric's wife, Laura Trump. They are everywhere. Yet Joe's children are off the radar, literally. I think that's really weird. I think that's really weird. Media are doing everything they can to help Joe Biden. And, oh, by the way, this is a picture from 2016. They were genuinely shocked when Donald Trump won. This time, they're not going to be shocked when Donald Trump wins. They're going to be scared. They're going to be scared, not because anyone's going to come after them or their safety isn't at risk, but their relevance is totally on the line. Their usefulness. Why would anybody ever believe them again? And in the unlikely event that Trump loses, they will have been in on it. They will have participated in a cover-up to help the victor in this presidential race. Again, I don't think it's going to come to that. I really am actually quite confident that the president is going to win. It seems to be shaping up that way. I can't totally articulate it, but it's a general kind of feeling I have. One other point I want to make before we're done with this block. We're calling it the personality complex, and I think this is kind of wild. Think about it. Donald Trump, brash, bold personality. He's a character, and he's been building that character for many, many decades. Also a business empire, but for a lot of us, he was a personality here in New York. Joe Biden worked in the Senate for all those years, right? Doing those government things and then the vice presidency. But now we're in a point in this race where the president is campaigning on his record and Joe Biden is campaigning on his personality, which, by the way, can be pretty nasty at times. Although, you know, he sold himself as a guy, you know, nice, friendly. And they really tried hard to make him look nice and friendly during the convention. Do you remember that? I mean, he really looked kind of cute, kind of cuddly, you know, just grandfather, whatever. Ever since, he's looked kind of nasty. And this is ironic as well, because Joe, as the president says, in his prime, not that smart and not that nice. Actually, really, really nasty. I want to show you something totally peculiar, but it needs to be seen. This is Joe Biden, I think just a few months after he became a United States Senator from Delaware. He was on a public television show called The Advocates. Look at how he comes in. Just look at his demeanor, his way, and listen closely to what he says. I think it's astounding and very revealing.
Senator Biden, welcome to The Advocates.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Senator Biden, it's nice to have you here. As the youngest member of the Senate, the one, therefore, who may expect the longest career there, I wonder if you'd say to us, since it's clear that you're not corrupt and you got elected, why should people think that the system produces corrupt results when there you are?
Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though. The system does produce corruption, and I think implicit in the system is corruption, when in fact, whether or not you can run for public office, and it costs a great deal of money to run for the United States Senate, even from a small state like Delaware, you have to go to those people who have money, and they always want something.
Said something? Last part first. He doesn't seem to be particularly bothered by that at all. They want something, Joe's ready to give it. And I think he's ready to get something as well. He wasn't there to drain the swamp. He was there to thrive in it. Also, don't assume I'm not corrupt. What a weird, unfunny thing to say, isn't it? All right, folks, I do want to make a prediction for tomorrow night. Here's what I think is going to happen. It will be apparent that the president has won the election by the end of the evening. However, there will be significant Democratic resistance. They will try to delegitimize the results. They will emphasize all the votes yet to be counted. It's going to get a little bit messy. It's going to get a little bit ugly, but there will be widespread recognition that the president has prevailed tomorrow evening. Next couple of days will be interesting, but 4 more years.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.